Well, here we are, another episode of Athlete of the Week with today's Athlete of the Week, Rory McDowell.
Hello.
Rory, very, very happy to have you on this prestigious show. How are you feeling today?
Yeah, not too bad. Yeah, it's Thursday, nearly the end of the week, so yeah, just plug
Thursday,
away. I am working right now. So
you are working right now. Okay, we won't. There won't be too many people seeing this anyway, so you'll
on lunch.
Be all right.
I'm on lunch.
You're on lunch.
Yeah.
Hey, this is work. This is work anyway. You know, I'm working right now as well.
I can see that. Yeah.
But yeah. But basically, we're having you on the show today to talk, well, mainly about this Webb McDowell Cup that you are you're at one half of anyway.
Yeah, you could say that. Yeah.
Yeah, you could say. But we just recently had that, the sixth one.
Sixth, that's right. Yeah.
Last week, or 2 weeks ago, actually, probably about 2 weeks ago now.
Well, yeah, it would have been so like closer to 3 actually.
Yeah, fair enough.
Because it just took ages to get the pictures, which is why, because you know the way I post the report with the picture every year. So it's like we didn't have the picture yet, so I had to wait for that to be like. Boom, so.
Why were they so slow this year?
I think it was, who was it? It was Mr. Willis this year.
Yeah.
Instead of
Danny Willis. Yeah.
Jenny wasn't available. And then I think he went off on holiday, so it was couldn't actually post them. So yeah.
Fair enough.
We got there in the end.
Yeah. Well, let's first of all start off talking about the history of the competition. So it was the sixth year this year, so it's five previous. When did it first start? I know already, obviously, but if you want to just tell everyone.
Yeah, I mean, because well, I don't know about you, but I get asked this question a lot. What is this? You know, people are always just Yeah, well, and it's hard because it is hard to explain. Because obviously it's you say, oh, the hockey team play the football team, and everyone's at football, and it's it's everyone's ooh, yeah. But that's because they don't know the lore, they don't know the history. And of course, because obviously the history is that Methody, our school, didn't used to have a football team, and it was when we were in upper sixth, when we were in our last year, that was the first time we were allowed to have a football team. And then obviously we sucked. We would lose games 14-1 and 9-0. We were really bad. And then a few people in the hockey sort of team.
There was some talk.
There was some talk, and I have it in my head, and I could be entirely wrong, but I have it in my head that it was Ian McFall who said, "Even we could beat you at football."
Really?
I don't know if it was him.
Probably. I wouldn't be surprised.
I could. Yeah, exactly. It fits. I don't know whether that's true or not. That could be apocryphal. I could be making that up, but it definitely the sentiment was, hockey team, we could beat you at football. And then that's sort of where it started. I think was it 2013 was the first one.
12. It was we left school in 2014.
2014. So it would have been 2014 then.
Would have been 2014, wouldn't it? In the summer after.
Yes. Because that was the first one. The very first one that we actually played while we were at school. That was in I think that was June sort of time. It was, and it was 2014 then. It would have been. And then it was you and me then decided years later to have a rematch.
First of all, at that time it was we weren't even the
we weren't even the captains.
It was Ahmed Morsi and Phil Hawthorne, because they were respective captains at that time of the school football team and the school hockey team. So they took it upon themselves. Yeah, as I said, I agree with you. I'm not too sure why or whose idea it was in the end, but I just remember a bit of chat around the school corridor, the table tennis floor.
I was going to say a lot of the table tennis floors. So
there was a bit of chat, and then I guess we finally were we should just decide who actually is better, have a match. whether that was Phil and Ahmed that actually made that happen or whatever. But
I don't know whether it was, but yeah, I don't actually remember like who or let's say what. I mean, it clearly was like a group effort, but I don't remember who was like the driving force behind the original. I think it did just sort of. There was appetite for it, so it happened. I think is what.
Yeah. People wanted it. So, we made it happen. So and then what happened? Well, let's go on. Let's talk about how then. Yeah, it went on after that. So it didn't, because it didn't happen for a number of years after that first match.
Yeah, because it was. Right? Was it 2017 that we had the first rematch in? I think
it might have been. Yeah, which would have been 3 years later, which would make sense. Yeah.
So it was quite a while. So it was 20 or was it 26? I'm trying to like count them out now. So
I think it was about 2014.
Then, well, if I work it, and that's like because COVID makes it difficult as well because you have to miss out one as well. You can't just count back and.
I think that would make sense because we missed one, but then 2017, 18, 19, 20, 21, and then miss a year out of that. And then that would bring it to 6. Yeah.
Because I remember actually when you and I first came up with the idea. I don't know came up with, but sort of like solidified the idea was
decided to keep it going. Yeah.
Was when we were at your house watching the Conor McGregor Floyd Mayweather fight.
Yeah.
Got a like terrible fight, really boring. But but I just remember then we were like, oh, like well, let's make another like rematch like thing. Like we'll play the game again.
Why not? Yeah.
And here we are still. So.
I guess. We just fancied Christmas time was a good idea to. Yeah, well, it's because people were usually back home from universities, and for me, it was a good idea just to bring people together. Certainly from my side, like a lot of my friends are part of the hockey team anyway. They like to play football, and likewise, same with your friends. We just thought it'd be a good, healthy competition to bring people together. I think we were both like enjoyed that sort of organization of it. Like, why not? So I guess that's where it started. And we took over the reins of the captaincy then. Hawthorne and Morrissey,
I
didn't have the enthusiasm that we had, so we decided to rename the cup to our favour.
Yeah, well, we put all the work in, so
Yeah. So I think that's completely fair enough. Like, as much as we appreciate and respect the first match, and that's what all kicked off. But but we've done a lot of work since then, including buying an actual cup, and getting an annual photographer to the match, promoting it on social media. Even this year, this year I wasn't even involved because I'm in Australia. But we somehow managed to get a live stream all the way to Belfast, pitch side, amazingly. Yeah. I mean, it was just a FaceTime from one of the mums, basically. But still, it was a live stream of the match, and it was really cool. So we say every year we get a little bit more into it, and slightly the things go up. Yeah.
Well, that's one of the things is people always when they like see the pictures, because obviously the pictures are always like really well done. So I think that's one thing that like really confuses people who like aren't familiar with the game. They because I put them up on Instagram or whatever, and like people are like what. Like, what is that? Because like, especially people who like, I do still play football, but like in a Sunday league team or whatever, I'm not very good or anything, not playing at a very high level. So especially people who know that, they're like, why are you like, what is this game? It's people are baffled by it, which I think is really funny.
Absolutely. And I think it's the irony of that as well. Like, it's ironic the way we make it such a big thing when clearly it's not. It could just be played, with no one knowing about it. But like, it's we like to amp it up. We like to have fun with it.
Fun,
we like to play on the irony that like, the standard's so low in a way, but like, it's fun. And we like to pretend we take it seriously, which is great fun. But but yeah, so can you talk us about the history of the matches and scores through the years? So the first time was 2-1 to you guys.
2-1. Yep.
From memory, it was I can't remember how it went exactly. Did you guys go 2-0 up and then we got to go back?
No, it was the opposite. It was Hockey went 1-0 up at the end of the first half. George Ewing scored a header, I think, at the back post.
Yeah, McDowell scored a header, I believe.
Or was it? Yes, that was it.
McDowell.
Yeah, you're right. It was both. I remember George went up for it. He missed it, and it went past him and went to Mark Doyle. Yeah. And he scored it at the back post. And then it was in the second half. James McMullen assisted for Andy Patterson to score, and then Andy Patterson assisted for James McMullen to score to put ball 2-1 up. And then that was the game.
So a single goal separated that, and then we were it was tight. We actually thought we were the better team. We were like, there was appetite for another match after that.
Yeah, there was
finally, because we were like, oh, it was one goal in it, and then we got our heads together and brought the one 3 years later, 2017, and that was another tight match.
Yeah, well, that's sort of the thing, is that it's almost always like just a very tight affair. So that one, the next one we did was 4-3 to football. And I think the most insane thing about that match was that like Josh Morrow scored a hat trick. That was because one of his goals was a really good header actually as well. I think the winner, and that was it. He scored the to make it 4-3 in I think like 2 or 3 minutes from the end. Like it was a really exciting game. And then even the next year, then it was even closer because that was the one that was on penalties. So it was 3-3.
3-3. Extra time, no goals, and then it went to penalties.
And I think it was Phil Hawthorne was the only one who missed, and he hit the bar as well.
And that was the fifth penalty, wasn't it? That was the
it was like the 9th or something. It was literally it was like all maybe 5 takers scored. Yeah. It was definitely after 5. It was it was definitely after the original 5, because I mean the guy who scored the winner for us, Sean Hooker, he should not have been anywhere near.
He wouldn't have been anywhere near the top 5.
No, so that was I remember that being incredibly tense because it just nobody was missing, so it's just the pressure just kept going up and up and up, so that one was poor. And then after
that means every match so far has been separated by, it seemed like getting closer and closer. So it was like 1 goal, 2-1, then it was 4-3, which is 1 goal, and then it went to penalties. So it got closer and closer in those 3 matches, and then the next one was the 4th one, which was
4-3 to Hockey, right? Yeah, wasn't it? Yeah, yes. Was it 4?
And that was it was 4-3.
4-3, yeah.
Was that? Did it go extra time in that one?
No, I don't.
We score a 4th goal in extra time, or was it?
Maybe actually.
I remember anyway. It was Rowan Brown. I just remember thinking it's going to go to penalties again, and then Rowan Brown scored,
and it was it was 2 minutes before the end of time. So that's it's like these are close match, and they're late goals as well. That's the thing. It's they pretty much always are exciting. I'm not just saying this because I'm in them, and obviously I find it exciting. But in terms of being a contest, the games actually usually are really
it's tense. It's tense, and there's definitely a mentality thing. When a team goes 1 up, the other team are more likely to score, or certainly 2 goals up. It's very rare that a team will go two goals up without the other team coming back. It just seems to be like a very much a mental thing.
Definitely. Although that's like then the next one after that. Well, that was 2021.
Was an anomaly. Yeah,
that was it was actually. So that was when we won 3-0 that one. But the thing was though, like I definitely think that we like deserved to win that one, like, but like not 3-0. 3-0 like flattered us a bit, definitely in that one, I think. Because I remember there were like times we like hit the post and stuff, and like it was like lack of finishing was like the problem for your team that year.
Like it was, took our chances. Yeah. And you scored in the like 92nd minute or something.
Yeah, I scored like right at the end.
So it really was like a 2-0 game, maybe. Or I think it was 1-0 most of the game, but and then you scored like a third at the very last bit. Yeah. But you definitely deserved that one anyway.
Well, that's what I mean. It's sort of basically all of the other ones you could say could have gone either way. Okay, mostly they did go in like football's favor, but like they were like on the line, could have gone either way. Whereas like that one, like I think we were the better team in that. Like that's the only one where I think it was like a sort of clear, like that was the better team. You might disagree, but I sort of think like
that's
the score does reflect that. The score was generous to us, but but then that's the thing. Then you come back again to this year, and then 4-3 again. It's like so that the year before was an anomaly, but it's every year it's a contest. I mean, it's a real actual battle, and especially as well because I mean this year it went 1-0 football, then 1-1, 2-1 hockey, then like 2-2, 3-2, 4-2, then 4-3. It's like it's going both ways. It's not like somebody's playing catch up. It's like always like
and so that means that 5 out of the 6 years it was separated by a single goal.
Yeah.
Or less, like penalties. So it's just that 1 year. So it is tight, but you guys seem to always be on the favored side. So
I mean, I think
there is an aspect of we just can't finish it, whereas you guys are better at that.
Well, I think that sort of maybe is it, especially when you sort of consider like it's kind of like we've got Peter Lockhart up front, you know what I mean, and he's got like 7 goals now in the 6 games, I think it is.
Which is the highest.
Yeah, he's obviously the record holder. And it's like Lockie's a finisher, like and
he
takes chances.
He's a good footballer. Like he plays football, doesn't he?
Yeah, he plays. I think
keeps it up.
He plays for Rosario at the minute, I think. So like he's a guy who plays like properly. So like and I think that's sort of it. Like him, mainly him, but I think also a couple of our other ones, because like it's not just him that still like actually plays football. I still do play 11-a-side football. There's definitely more people in our squad, let's say, that do still play that do play 11-a-side football, because I know obviously you and Sharky do. But I don't know how many other players in your squad would play 11-a-side or even like 5-a-sides or 7s or anything. Whereas we do have a few that do still play 11s. And I think it's sort of like maybe that added just like composure is sort of what gets it over the line. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think a bit more of your team knows what to do when they get the ball. Like it's nothing too fancy, but it's just like that simple pass or that simple positioning. Just more of a footballing head, I think, overall. And you guys can work the ball better on the pitch. Like whereas us, we too long, or we don't have that touch. Like a lot of our players maybe don't.
Well, and I think part of it maybe also is that like our squad really year to year doesn't change.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Ours changes all the time. Like we struggle to get. Like this year, I think it was just Sharky from our year. Is that right?
No.
I'm not too sure, but
It was, but
no,
then
McRae was there.
James McRae and Ethan Barry played as well.
Des Conroy. Oh yeah, but there again,
Des
none of them
Conroy,
were like actual hockey player. Like were on the hockey team. They were just sort of pick up like wild cards almost from our year. But yeah, we struggled.
Well, they had played hockey at one point.
Players.
So
yeah, exactly.
But that's all. That's all you need to be eligible. So
yeah, true. So, but yeah, you guys seem to be more.
It's kind of like we have like basically like 13 guys, and like 13 or 14, and then every year 1 or 2 won't be available, and it's like, but that's it. It's like it's those same like 11 players plus like 2 subs like every year. You know what I mean? So it sounds crazy to be like, we're like, we've gelled and we know each other, but like, when you're playing a game once a year, but there is sort of an element of that, like I kind of, already basically know what the team's going to look like pretty much for next year already. You know what I mean? Because it's going to be this like, okay, there'll be changes or whatever. Some people won't be available, but like the general, like spine of the team or whatever, like it's going to be the same. So I think there sort of is an element of that like we are kind of used to it, because we have done it for so many years now. So like there is a familiarity there that obviously will help. So
yeah, whereas us, we don't, like, I have no idea, I guess, next year's team or who's going to be available, who's going to want to play and stuff. But yeah, but again, we're getting used to that, the lack of availability from the core players. But we work around it. There's always new players. Like that's the thing. You said like eligibility technically is anyone who's played hockey at Methody, or like even like I think this year we had Sharky was looking at the years like literally first year when we were in upper sixth. There was a few like first year hockey players, and he gave them a few. Give them a message, and then they came up and played. So I see we'll be tapping, into that more in the future. I think
should do, yeah.
Because like, why not? That's the way we keep this going as well. Like,
exactly. No, that's
coming in.
Definitely, yeah.
So, but yeah, and what do you envision the future to be like? How many more years does this have in it, or do you think this will keep going? Like,
I mean,
throughout the year,
I'd say we have to make it to 10 at least.
Yeah.
Like I reckon I have to make it to 10, and then I don't know, like 10th anniversary book out Windsor Park match. Like, like I don't know, but like. The thing is, it's like the appetite in my team. I know, like I said, that like core group that we've got, like it's there every year. Like, it's unless people are, and that's like because we all come, not all obviously, but like because people predominantly do come home for Christmas. It's like, they want like the guys, they want to play the game. So if they're around, they'll play it, and they will make time to play it. So like, there's definitely the appetite there. So like, so long as like people keep coming home for Christmas, like I don't see why it would stop. That's the thing. This year was difficult to organize, partly because it was Sharky was doing it for the first time as well, but also it was just the way the dates fell was actually quite awkward, because it was like the bank, like the bank holidays and when Christmas were, it was just like not easy. Whereas I envisage next year being a lot easier, because so Christmas Day is the Monday, so that's the 25th. So then 24th is obviously New Year's or Christmas Eve, and then the 23rd, which usually actually is the day that we try and do it. That'll be a Saturday, so perfect. Relatively. Yeah. So I reckon next year should be relatively easy to do, because that was the big problem this year, was getting a pitch, because so many of the places were just closed because there was the 2 bank holidays on the Monday and the Tuesday, and then obviously it was like New Year's Eve that weekend. So many places, like for example the Dub, which is one of the places we would traditionally have it, were just like, we're closed for the week. So okay. So that's why we did Olympia for the first time. because it was one of the places that was open basically. Whereas next year, I don't see that being a problem. I think it should be much easier.
Yeah. So hopefully, who knows, next year maybe, because this year obviously I was in Australia, or I'm in Australia, so is Michael Fogarty. But who knows, we might be back next year. We might have to come back anyway for that.
Well, but yeah, I think that was sort of one of the big problems this year. Like for you, not big problems maybe, I don't know, but like your team was missing, you, Michael, and Mark, like who are like you'd say three of the like regulars from the hockey perspective, like I mean, obviously you've been in all of them except this one, but like like Michael and Mark have been in a lot of them as well.
In most of them, good presences, both good players.
Exactly, because like as much as I slag Michael off all the time, like he I think he does have 2 goals. So like,
there we go.
I think he has 2 goals and 2 assists. I did the stats the other day actually. I'll send them across. I've done the stats. Well, actually, I mean, I have them. I have them on my phone in my notes. I'll go and have a look and see.
Yeah.
Just so I can be nice to Michael because I keep slagging him off.
Can you actually read them out now? The top or the stats? That'd be interesting.
Well, so Lockie's out in terms of goals. Peter Lockhart's out on 7. He's increased the distance on you because you're on 4. So because going into this year's game, Lockie was on 5 and you were on 4, but he's got another 2.
He scored 2 more. Oh damn it!
He scored 2 more, so he's on 7 now. Morrow's on 3 because of his hat trick. Then Michael Fogarty, John Mulgrew for us, and Sharky are all on 2 because Sharky got 2. Sharky had never scored before this year.
2 panels.
And then Andy Patterson, James McMullen, Mark Doyle, James McRae, Michael Thompson, Rowan Brown, Tyler Hodgin, me, Peter Cox, and Matthew McHarrison are all on 1.
Nice.
Yeah, not bad. And then assists.
Go for it. Go for it. Assists.
Yeah.
Assists. Yeah.
So there's 4 players all on 3, and all of them are MCBFC players. So it's James McMullen, Matthew McHarrison, Mark Carter, and Andy Patterson. And then there's 4 players on 2. All of them are hockey players.
Really?
So Turner, you, Fogarty, and Sharkey, and then Patrick McMullen, me, David Clark, Lockhart, Rowan Brown, Chris Cox, Josh Morrow, and Mark Doyle are all on 1. And then the extras, there's a few more. There's the own goal stats. So Mark Irwin and Peter Gibbons for us both have 1, and then Jamie Weatherup has 1 for hockey. Although Jamie Weatherup's own goal was Sharky's fault. It was like Jimmy Weatherup played a pass. It was in the one use one.
Oh yeah.
Weatherup played a pass back to him, and he just let it go past him and into the net. So that should really be a Sharky own goal. But then penalties conceded. Because Peter Cox has given away 2 penalties. But he's made it back up. He didn't give one away this year, and he got a goal. So he's working it back. So good job. And then Mark Irwin has 1 as well. And then Morrow and I both gave away ones this year. And then the man of the matches. And then so it's nobody's won more than 1. But so in order of the way they went. So Andy Patterson won the first one. Josh Morrow won the second, obviously because that was his hat trick. Peter Lockhart won the third. Patrick Hart won for hockey team. Because he was really good. It was insane. He was playing centre back, wasn't he? Yeah.
Need to get him back. Yeah, no.
And then Tyler Hodgin won for us then the year after. And then even though he was on the losing side, Sharky won this year because my god, like you should have seen him. He was like everywhere. He was playing centre back, but he was like. I was saving shots from him, and I was like, "What is going on?" Like
strange call. Like he placed himself in centre back, but he seemed to think he could do the whole job. Yeah.
Well, that was the thing. I think he sort of saw it that because obviously we know Sharky puts in a lot of work to this right now, and he's really good at it. I think it was probably right. I can see the whole game from here.
Yeah.
But I can influence it as well more than say being in the goal. Because he could just be like, right, I'm gonna go on a run now. I'm gonna carry this ball forward, and he'd be skinning 3 or 4 players.
Yeah. And then if you lost it, or he could probably make it back in time as well with his.
Yeah, well, exactly. He's got the fitness, so he just pings back, and it's right, okay, cool. But what that means is that the last 3 man of the matches have been centre backs. So like,
yeah,
just a nice little record to have there.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are the stats I have on record. So goals, assists, own goals, penalties conceded, and a man of the matches. So unfortunately, I can't really do possession and things like that. It's a bit difficult.
Not yet.
Not yet. We'll get somebody in for that.
I'm sure that'll be for the future. Yeah. Well, yeah. Hopefully, it continues long into the future. Who knows? 10th anniversary and beyond. Who knows? Maybe we'll be playing with our sons one day and they'll take it over. Who knows?
That'll be good.
That's super low. Or maybe even when we can't play and we're injured and old, we'll be on the sidelines managing.
Be the manager.
That would be why not? Yeah, class. Well, very good. And what about yourself? You're still playing football, Rory? Like
like just
playing
Sunday league,
11-a-side.
Yeah, but like a full 11s, but just quite a sort of
bit of a mess about him.
I wouldn't. It's still like it's a decent level, like it is, and like my team's like we're quite good, but like it's a Sunday league run by Edinburgh University because obviously I live in Edinburgh, so it is mostly like uni students that are playing, but it's a good level, but it's still a Sunday league, so we're good, but we're still Sunday league, like it's not a mess about but like players do still turn up hungover. I still turn up hungover, like stuff like that.
Absolutely. And you're gonna, it's so as the season restarted again after Christmas now, or is there still a bit of a break? Sorry, did you hear that? No. After has the season restarted?
Not just yet. It's my first training is next week, and then potentially a week or so after that, because it's like Edinburgh Uni's only just starting back like now, because obviously it's university run, so our season is basically like based on like term time for the uni. So it'll be starting back very soon, I think.
And are you planning to keep on playing football, 11-a-side, like for the foreseeable?
I mean, the sort of the way I'm looking at it the minute is like the team I've joined, because it is like a uni one. Like I am like obviously one of the older people playing, and it's kind of like, so the way I see it going is the year I joined, obviously there's some guys who are like literally like university first years have joined as well, and I reckon when they're finished, when the guys who were first year when I joined are finished, I'll probably like call it there as well, because that'll be like right, you've been there long enough, because don't want to be like 30 years old playing against like 18-year-old university students. It'll
keep you fit, but
keep you fit. But I think at that point I start to look for something else.
Like look for another team, or
No, I mean, like I want to like I love playing football, but particularly 11-a-sides. Like, I mean, obviously I enjoy playing like 5s and 7s and stuff, but like I think 11s is the most fun, and I always much more enjoy playing an 11-a-side game than I do 5s or anything. And I think that's just like, I don't know. I find it easier to take 11-a-side seriously, and like I like, if I'm going to be playing a sport, like I do like to get into it, So and for me as well, like being a defender, being a left back, whatever. Like I love running and making a tackle. You know what I mean? And that always feels bigger and better on a full pitch, you know what I mean? So for me, it's I always want to play 11s. So
when you still can, when it's still fun and sociable. Like,
exactly.
Best sport, and it keeps you fit for the big comp every Christmas as well.
For the main event, which is obviously the cup. So.
Very good. So we'll quickly finish on just mention you've done a few other like non-football sporting cool things, mainly running. Like, you're not a runner, but
no.
Hope I'm not disrespecting you there, but
no, not. I mean, that's the truth.
But you've done some pretty impressive like running challenges. Your first one was 5K every day for the whole month, and that was just like a Strava challenge thing during lockdown. Is that right?
It was because it was locked down, and I was like bored, and I was like, well, what if I just ran 5 kilometers every day? And that's as somebody who'd like, once I obviously didn't just like go from sitting on my ass to doing that. I been running throughout COVID, because I mean that's what a lot of people did. But you know, I was getting into it and it was good. And then I was like, yeah, you know what, like I'm a little bored. Let's like make a proper challenge out of this. Like, you know, like actually really push myself. And then so it was tough. And the thing was, it was like, especially on the days when like, because you've done similar stuff, you know how it is as well, especially on the days when you like really don't want to, it isn't even actually that, it's just getting started. It's just like getting your gear on and getting outside. Like once you get going, you're fine because you've already done it for like 20 days, but it's like it's just so difficult to get out. But once you get out, like you can do it. The foam roller was necessary. I needed that. So
well, there's something about just getting it done every day, whether you feel like it or not, and just like getting into the rhythm. Like there's harder periods, but the more you just do it, you realize, or your mind just realizes, okay, this guy's doing it. No matter how I feel, sort of you relax into it, get into a bit of a rhythm. It's probably what you find. But and I guess at the end, you're like, you feel amazing that you've completed like such a challenge which you've never done before or thought you could do. But
because that's with because with the second one I did then, that was October. I ran every day of October 5K,
which was more.
And then the second one was February, where I wanted to run 200 kilometers in the month of February, so in the 28 days. So I did like I ran like 10K on the first day, and then it was like 7.5K every day after that. Thereabouts, brought it up to 200. And I mean, that's, again, obviously it was tough, but you know, again, just like same thing, got into the rhythm, kept going, kept doing it. And that was the thing. Then I sort of like, obviously at the end of that, have a rest, but then a few days after that, maybe 5 or so days after I finished that, not entirely on a whim, but I sort of was like, I think I could run a half marathon now. And that's something I like never would have I like never would have thought of doing that. But I was just like, you know, I feel like I can, and I just moved to Edinburgh. This was like literally my first week living in Edinburgh. And I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna go and run a half marathon now. And yeah, I did. It was like over 2 hours or whatever. It wasn't particularly fast, but like, even like, you know, when I sort of started like lockdown running, and even, you know, even after doing the sort of 5K every day in October, like I didn't think I'd be able to sort of get to that level. Because so much of that was, as like, obviously it's physical as well, but so much of that was like mental, is, you know, it was the getting out and going every day, but still only a relatively short distance of 5K. Whereas then, this was like, right, one day of a long distance. But that was the thing. It honestly, like, it wasn't even as hard as I'm not trying to be like, oh, it wasn't that hard. It was, but it wasn't even as hard as I expected it to be. So, but I mean, I think that's obviously because I'd just like run every day for a month again. So. It felt really good, you know, like it was almost sort of like the reward of running for the month. It was like, hey, look what you can actually do. So it felt really good.
But your focus throughout that was never about speed or time. It was just about doing the distance, which makes it a lot simpler and takes away any sort of like athleticism away from it. It's more emphasis on the mental challenge of just turning up and then just completing it. So and actually, you posted it on Strava for both those times. I remember following you. It was pretty cool. I remember doing a few runs with you, actually. Certainly the 5K one, was it? Maybe both, actually.
No, I think it was it might have been a few of both. I think it was mostly the February ones, actually, when we were doing the 7.5 sort of. And we did a few other ones as well, just like we did some 10Ks and stuff as well.
It was cool to see your progression, just from someone who was never really a runner before. And I think I remember one time I paced you to your best time.
Oh I have not forgotten that. No.
That was a tough one for you, but
that was very tough for me. But that was, I mean, that was a big help as well. Like, obviously, thank you very much. I think what I remember about that was actually, what was so cool about that was we didn't plan that. I remember it was, and we didn't even say anything while we were running, but we just sort of felt it. Like, I remember, because we were running along, and like we were going, for me, obviously not for you because you're a runner, but like for me, we were going quite fast, but like I felt comfortable going at the speed we were going, and I could see you sort of clocking that, and we just kept, we were like, we didn't drop the speed, we kept it. And obviously by the end I was dying, but like, it was like, definitely, it was like by far my fastest that I'd ever done. And I was like, oh damn, okay.
Class. And and you sort of like, so I did a 10K a day for the whole of May last year.
Yeah, I remember that as well. I remember seeing that and going up on your Strafas and being like, no way, he's actually doing it. Like, I
had to top
you. Yeah, I know, yeah.
So I was like, oh, you did 7.5K, I'll do 10K a day. So I did that. But you did sort of inspire me, or put the thought into my mind. Like,
well, thanks very much. Yeah,
I'll try this out. I can do this. It's a good idea. And it was fun, and I experienced probably what you experienced in terms of all of the mental challenges, the injuries. I remember certain points I was like, I can't do this anymore, like, because I hadn't really run before that, like, as in recently my mileage wasn't up, but so it was a big step up to run 10K, for 31 days in a row. But I knew I could do it, and I knew it was sore, but it's just about keeping going. And but it was fun. Do you think you have any other challenges up your sleeve coming? I mean, you haven't done one in a while.
I probably
is there an
not.
idea bring, or you sort of like?
it's the thing is, it's like it was also a lot easier to do them when I like one, didn't have a job, and two, had a much easier job than I do now. But it's like, because my job now has exams and stuff as well, it's like it just takes up a lot more of my time. So like, I still like, so I train for my football team, and I still go on runs as well, just like obviously keep my fitness up. But like, in terms of sort of like dedicating to that, probably not anytime soon. Because it's while I'm on like a graduate program, that once my exams are finished and I'm like just working again like a normal person, like, maybe. But that's like a year and a half away. So but we'll see.
But well, here, listen, Rory, very nice to talk to you.
Yeah, thanks for having
me. Great to have you on the show.
Thanks very much.
And I'll see you when I see you. Who knows, maybe it'll be next Christmas by the time I'm back. Who knows?
Might be,
So thanks to everyone who's listening. Probably very little people, because basically, Rory, what I'm doing now is I'm not even sharing this, I'm not even posting it. Like, all I want to do is just get more into the habit of actually doing it. And it's mainly, you got to remember, it's for my benefit, it's for me. It's like, if I'm not having fun while I'm doing it, if no one's watching it, then what's the point, So maybe I'll like share it at some point, like maybe in like a year time, if there's interest. But at the moment, just having fun, just starting,
They're even nice little video diaries just to have. Like,
exactly. So that should be the most important thing. Anything else is a bonus, maybe.
Sure. Yeah.
That's my mentality on it. But But thanks very much for being on this one. Yeah. All right. Goodbye. I'm gonna end recording now. Stop.